I wanted to say something though about Luka. I mentioned the monster game he had tonight, which was par for the course for him. But on the season, Luka is averaging 35 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. Uh, and basically, there's never been a Laker who's had a season like that. I mean, Kobe, the year Kobe averaged 35, uh, he averaged like 5 rebounds, 5 assists to go along with it. Of course, the era that these guys are playing in now is different. It's such a wide open era, probably the most player friendly, like offense friendly era that there's ever been. And there's been, I mean, the '80s were offense friendly. The the '60s were offense friendly. But I don't know. I mean, I think if you probably have to go back to the '60s to see the last time you had guys like I said, like Elgin Baylor. He's the type of guy who Elgin Baylor for his career I think shot only 43%, but I mean he used to put up some really crazy numbers. You know, back then. Uh, Elgin obviously what Wilt used to do. Um, Jerry West. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not just talking about Lakers. I'm just talking about guys and Oscar Robertson, of course. You know, putting up huge numbers. But that's I mean that's a few guys. You compare that to the in the '80s. Mike was putting up some crazy numbers after he came in. Kareem put up huge numbers in the '70s. You know, and then you had Moses Malone. You had Larry Bird. What Bird was doing in the '80s was incredible. But I don't know. I just feel like this in this era. Of course, what it comes down to is just the number of possessions. You know, the more fast-paced the game is, the more possessions each team will, have on a nightly basis. And the higher the scoring averages will be for the teams, and also like the individual numbers for the players. It's just more of everything to be had. More points to be scored, more rebounds to grab, more assists to hand out. So I would say, yeah, for sure, bro. This is probably the greatest offensive era in the history of the league. And so yeah, so there's some inflation there. Like you can't compare what Luka's doing now to even what Kobe. Like by 2006, where they think they took the hand checking away in 2000. I think it was 2005. They took the hand checking away. What year was? What year they took the hand checking away? I think the zone started in 2002 when they started to allow that. And I think they took the hand checking away. I think that was '05 was the first year of that. Um, so that was the next year was the year that Kobe averaged 35, 5 and 5. Uh, you had LeBron averaged 31, 7 and 6 or whatever. AI that was his highest scoring season, 33 points a game. Um, but yeah, like I said, this if you look at this, the guys these days who put up seasons that are just absolutely phenomenal, one year after the other. Luka, Joker, Shea. I mean, I could just go on down the line. You know, but so yeah, I mean, it's like it's hard to compare across the different eras, but for sure, what he's doing is, uh, nobody's ever averaged 35, 9 and 9 for the Lakers before. That's just a fact. Kobe and Elgin, they got to 35. Kobe 35 that year. I know Elgin averaged, I think the size was like 38 points a game, maybe something like that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Luka's just all around machine. And it's like one of those things. I think who was that? I think Shaq was saying like, you don't understand how people can't guard Luka. People used to say the same thing about Larry Bird. Kobe used to say that. Like he used to watch. Go, why can't people stop this guy? But I think the thing about it is that you don't need to be a great athlete if you can't shoot the basketball. if you can shoot the ball, you know, that opens up your whole game because it's like if a guy can't shoot, you can play off of him, and when you play off of him, um, you play off of him, then it makes it a little bit more difficult for him to to drive, right? Unless he's Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, somebody like that who's not that they couldn't shoot. They weren't, I mean, Jordan was never a great outside shooter, and neither was Iverson really. He would take more threes than Jordan did. But these guys were so great. It's just such blurs out on the basketball court. It didn't matter how far off I mean, you could play off Jordan a little bit at the 3-point line, but not anything inside 20 feet. But really, you don't need to be a great athlete if you can't shoot the ball. But Luka, he has to step back, and then if you play him you play him tight, so as to not give up the jump shot. That's when he goes around you. He knows how to get you on his hip and get you on his backside. He'll put his back to the basket and back you down. And also I think there's something to be said for that. The fact that he plays like off speed. You know, um, it's hard for as a defense. Defense is about effort. So if you're guarding somebody and his pace, when he has the ball, it's not full throttle. He's kind of playing like at his own pace out there. Um, it's hard to play defense like that because it's like how do you play? You can't play defense off speed. You can only play defense playing full effort. So the fact that Luka's out there and he's kind of just like he's never moving quickly. You know, it just throws off the defender, I think, and it makes it harder for Luka to be defended. Basically, he has no holes in his game as an offensive player.